there it is. Hi, everyone. Welcome, you guys. Today, I am joined by Trisha here. You're at the Trisha and Ricky Show. If you've been here with me before, you know that Wednesdays, I'm typically in my kitchen. I'm cooking up something. Today, we're doing things a little bit differently here. We are going to be talking about meal planning and some tactics that work and some tactics that do not. And Trisha, the expert here at Once a Month Meals, is going to be answering some of your questions, some of the questions that we get a lot in customer engagement and that I get when I'm working with members. Like a few things. Introduce yourself in the comments, please, to us, because we definitely want to say hello to you. Indicate if it's your first time here. We definitely want to give you a special welcome. And also, if you're watching this later on Facebook, and you'll notice because you won't see the little red live tab in the corner, go ahead and put hashtag replay.
I think it's just now live.
Oh, it's just now live. Guys, are we just getting started? I'm so sorry. We're having a little bit of technical issues here, but my name is Ricky. I'll go over it again really quick. My name is Ricky. This is Trisha, the founder of Once a Month
First
Meals.
of all, Happy New Year.
Oh,
Happy 2020.
yes.
Yes.
2020. You guys, how can it be 2020? Seriously.
Oh my gosh.
Not just this year has gone by fast, but I feel like the decade has gone by fast.
Yes.
Who still feels like they're in the 90s? Me. So welcome. So today we're going to be talking about meal planning and tactics that work and tactics that don't. And Trisha's going to answer some questions that we get a lot. So go ahead, introduce yourself in the comments. Share this if you have other friends or family maybe who are getting started with meal planning this year. That's one of their goals, is to get organized with meal planning. Go ahead and share this to your page, and so they can join us too. You can also tag them in the comments if you prefer to do that. All right.
So if you joined us the other night when we opened live, when we had the Once a Month Meals kickoff open enrollment party, you know that we did it game show style.
It was a good time.
If you didn't catch it, you need to go back and catch it because it was a really fun time. But today is more of like talk show style. We're going through all of the genres. Maybe we should work on a soap opera.
I know, right?
Week,
oh,
maybe.
Well, there we go.
Soap opera in the kitchen. I'm just kidding. All right. So Ricky and I are going to just, kind of grab a cup of coffee, start it on brewing, maybe grab a snack, put your headphones on if you need to block out the kids and the chaos and all of this stuff. And let's have a conversation about meal planning. What are the things that really don't work for you? What are some things that might work? You're going to have a chance to ask us questions. But we just really want this to be very casual, very fun. And hello to Marcy, Lisa, Erica, Happy New Year. Again, if you are just joining us, please comment also about your replay, because some people will be watching this after the fact. What should they do?
If you're watching this on replay, you'll notice because the red live tab is not in the corner, just hit hashtag replay in the comments. That helps us to know, hey, I'm watching this later, so will you make sure and go back, welcome you, answer your questions, make sure that you have everything that you need, all the information that you need to get plugged in here at Once a Month Meals. Looks like Deb is joining us.
I have one more suggestion. If you have a fellow friend that also struggles with meal planning, or you're constantly talking about what the heck's for dinner, or what are you having for dinner, or how do you deal with this dinner thing, maybe you should share this. Maybe you should tell them about it. Maybe you should just hit that little share button and do that as well, because they will thank you in 2020. So
for sure, you want to give them the best tip. And I'm always talking about meal planning and stuff with my girlfriends. We're always talking about the struggle of meal times and our kids and all that stuff. So I think that they would definitely appreciate that. Looks like we have Jackie joining us. Jackie says, I got to start using my membership more and planning better. Oh, so glad, Jackie. I'm so glad that it's helping you. We love that. Sometimes just getting started is the hardest part. Amen, sister.
Yeah, and we love helping you get started. We don't want you to throw you into the deep end. And we're going to talk a lot about that today when we're talking about meal planning tactics that work. And so I think this is a good time to get started with that. I know that you have some really good.
What do you do? So we're going to actually start with meal planning tactics that do not work. So we're going to talk about those for just a little bit. I'm going to kind of go through some, and Trisha is she's kind of our expert because she's the founder of Once a Month Meals. This started out of your need for meal planning, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I had actually right before my pregnancy, I was making a lot of freezer meals to get ready for our firstborn, who's now 11. So 11 years ago. And all my friends were asking me what the heck I was doing and how I was doing it. And I was like, well, it's really hard to have everybody over in my kitchen, but I could maybe put it up online and maybe that they could learn from that. And then it turned into this.
Yes.
Because apparently my friends weren't the only ones who were having trouble with mealtime,
Right.
and getting meals on the table at the right time. And so I've loved it. So for over 11 years, we've served tens of thousands, like we've served over 100,000 families.
Wow.
Once a month meals in the last 11 years.
That's crazy.
So it's amazing.
And awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about here a lot is I'm just going to rotate the same 5 to 7 meals. Like we have meals that are kind of our go-tos. We're just going to stick with that. So why would you think that would not work or not be a good idea?
Well, I mean, I think it can work for a season. I think there are probably staples that you maybe quarterly would like rotate in, because kids in particular need like repetition before they like a thing. And you just get to liking a thing and you take it, you just get to liking honey bourbon chicken, right? And then you take it out of the rotation. So there's that, but there's also getting bored. So if you're doing the same ones without introducing new stuff, then you can get bored. The other thing is nutrition wise, like you're also wanting to introduce new foods to your kids and get them to try things. If you don't ever introduce anything new, they're never going to like it. And it usually takes kids up to 10 introductions to a food. Sometimes it takes adults up to 10 or plus introductions of foods. You know what I'm saying? And so, thinking about that too, is that doing that is easy, but it's not really long-term sustainable. Like it's good for the short term. And so there's nothing wrong with doing that occasionally or having 2 or 3 that you rotate into the mix. But it's always good to explore new recipes. So that you don't get bored.
100% agree.
And have a good repetition,
right?
Healthy recipes.
So the next one, let's just go to the grocery store and get inspired. I'm just going to meal plan that way. I'm just going to walk the aisles and hope. And I actually am guilty of this. I used to do this back when I was single and then we were first married. I wasn't a meal planning expert of any kind. And I just thought, well, I'll just go to the store and figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could do that. It tends to be expensive, right?
Right.
Because you're usually hungry when you do that. And so you have these great ambitions of this thing that you're going to make, and then you just don't have time to make it. Or the ingredients go to waste. Or you get home and you're missing a couple things because you didn't actually have the recipe in front of you. And so you're just you're winging it, and then you get frustrated, and then again, the food goes to waste. So you waste that money instead of using it. So you think like, oh, I'm doing a good thing. I'm actually making meals, except for you don't. The other thing is that we tend not to make healthy choices in those moments.
Yeah.
So is anybody... so as you hear us talking, so we've talked about I'm going to rotate 5 to 7 meals. Is like, if you identify with that, will you put like an A, like you're a rotator? And or are you a let's go to the grocery store and get inspired? So that's B, or just grocery inspiration. So if you hear yourself in one of these like tactics that don't work so well, let us know.
Yes. So the next one,
shame.
That I hear
in your meal planning game.
None.
No
judgment here.
No judgment here at all.
So the next one, C, would be we'll just eat out. I can't even think about meal planning. We're too busy. Let's just eat out or order out.
So I would say the average person is never going to own this one. They're never going to say, yep, that's me, when it's actually them, because that's their default. They're like, yeah, DoorDash, Uber Eats, pizza, whatever. And it's like, well, I just didn't have time. It's okay. Like, it's just this once, but it's not really once. It's like 5 to 7 times a week. Right. So it's okay if you're C and you don't want to admit it. We get it. There's a lot of closet C's here. Eating out and meals, it's really expensive, right? If you're going to tell me when we go to talk about meal planning, once a month meals, and the fact that it costs you $25.99 a month, you're going to tell me that's expensive for meal planning. And I'm going to probably look at you and say, if you took your family, in fact, you can answer this. If you took your family out to eat right now, you just went to lunch and you chose, where do you typically choose? How much are you going to spend? I would like you to report, how much do you spend when you take your family out for one meal? And that's just one time, right? And it just, it just adds up. And then it's also unhealthy. Even if you're eating at Smoothie King, or you're eating a salad, or you're doing whatever, you just aren't eating as healthy. Those are convenient foods. Restaurants need to put preservatives in their food. They need to put more sodium, all kinds of things that you don't need to put into your food, because you don't have to extend the shelf life of it. You don't have to make it look good at home, all of those kind of things. So yes, you're eating unhealthier, you're spending a lot more money. And you have to kind of look at that over the course definitely of a month, but also of just a week, or even one time. If you go one time, I'm going to spend more than $24.99 if I take my.
Yesterday, I was just telling Trisha, my daughter had a birthday and we went out as a family. Now, granted, it was a little bit nicer of a restaurant, but we laid down over $150. We have a family of 6. I mean, that's like over half of a yearly membership.
Yeah.
At once a month meals. So in just one meal. So, all right, the next one. We get this one a lot, by the way. I'm going to change all my eating habits in one day. I'm going to totally go Whole30 tomorrow.
Right. We never get that on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, right?
Right.
Today is like the biggest day of I'm changing everything right now.
Yes.
Like it starts today. And we all do that, right? Or it's going to start on Monday. On Monday,
yes.
I'm going all in on keto or, whatever. And so, yeah, I think let's just be honest, it's super overwhelming, right? We want to tackle our entire meal planning existence or our entire dietary existence in one day.
Yes.
You just can't do that. It's sort of like, I use this example a lot. It's sort of like, getting a gym membership and expecting to go today to the gym and come out buff, and ready to go and the healthiest ever.
That would be so great.
Once a month meals is exactly like a gym membership. It's exactly like if you pay for a once a month meals membership and you don't ever use it, you don't ever show up, you don't ever do the cooking, you're never going to get the results out of it. It's just it is going to waste your money. And we don't want you doing that. But if you come into it thinking, okay, if I make a commitment to it, and you don't have to make an everyday commitment to it. I think that's what's wonderful. You can do it once a week. You can work up to once a month. But you can't come in and expect to tackle all of your meal planning in one day when you haven't worked on it for a while. It's going to take, and what I love about, obviously it's my company, but one of the things is I have some great staff members and we have a great program that will walk you along how to do this. So you're not going to come in and just cook a whole month's worth of meals tomorrow. That's sort of like saying, I think running would be really good for me. And so I'm going to run a marathon this weekend. Yeah. You just wouldn't do it. You need to kind of build up. You need to understand how you run, what's your style of running, what music motivates you, all of those kind of things. What equipment do you need? And so you need to start out small. And that's what Once a Month Meals does for you. It's not just an app where you go in and you pick your meals or it tells you what meals to do and you do it. It does that. But it also has a very clear path in terms of how to get started and what to do so that you don't get overwhelmed. And that's where making all the changes in one day, it's just overwhelming. Speaking of staff, we have these amazing people like Ricky and Erica who will also come alongside you, a community of other people that are freezer cooking and are also overwhelmed with meal planning that also can help with that. And so yeah, if you want it to be a sustainable habit, a sustainable meal planning habit, then you don't have to plan ahead, but you have to be willing to take the time to know that it's a long-term solution, not a short-term.
Yes.
So Marcy's saying, my daughter's a freshman in college and getting an apartment with a friend. We're going to make a monthly date to fill their freezer. Such a great way for them to save money and eat healthy. Yes. Marcy, that's amazing. Yes, absolutely. If I open my freezer here, I have single serving meals that we've made up. These are great to make up for college students because you cook them on the cooking day, roast beef and mashed potatoes. It's amazing. The other thing is the Instant Pot and the Instant Pot recipes that they can just throw in the Instant Pot or the slow cooker. But yeah, that's a wonderful way for college students to eat healthy, for you to be together as a family and cooking. What an amazing gift that you're giving your daughter to both teach her how to cook, yes, spending time with her, and contributing to her health. And you don't have to be there every night to cook those meals for her. So
Yes.
that's amazing, Marcy. Thank you for sharing that.
I love that idea. So our last one that we have for meal planning tactics that don't work is E. I'm just going to follow a free online meal plan. So I see this one a lot too, because I've done keto in the past and stuff. Like you go to Pinterest and they say, here's a 7-day full meal plan for you. So they say, I'm going to do that. So why do you think that maybe wouldn't work?
Well, it could actually work for the week, or,
Right.
you know, if they have some more. But there's really, I'm guessing there's probably a recipe or two you don't like on there.
Maybe.
And you have to like take it out,
Yep.
or some things that your family won't eat, or something that doesn't excite you. A lot of those free things don't account for that. They're just not customizable. So it's like, oh, here's a plan for 2 people, or here's a plan for 4 people. Whereas, you know, we love to let you customize, and we love to let you adjust all of the servings and take out the things that you don't like. So we have lots of pre-curated stuff that you could do. But also, I think I know there is a mentality around free versus paid. And your commitment level.
Yeah.
Like, how much more are you committed to the gym when you're paying out of your pocket? Because you know that you need to show up to do it, and you need to like return that value. And I think but I think most of it is, you know, allergies, likes and dislikes, but also just committing to it. And so how committed are you to making your meal planning work? And that's a good question, I think, for all of us to ask ourselves is what part of meal planning is important to me? Is it the time aspect? Is it having healthier recipes? Is it just knowing what I'm going to cook?
Right.
And those kind of things. Like what is the major problem within your meal planning?
And I think that those honestly are more short-term solutions too. Like those are meant to be short-term solution. And I think a large part of the issue with meal planning is we can all do really well, even on our own in the short term, right?
Yeah.
Like for a week,
Yeah.
But it's after that we tend to fall off and feel like, okay, well now I'm out of ideas. What am I going to do? And how you're talking about you want something that is sustainable, something that will go over time so that you don't give up on those New Year's resolutions and your goals and the eating habits that you want to change and stuff. So
I want your meal planning to look the same on January 3rd as it does on March 3rd and June 3rd and August 3rd and December 3rd. So like we want to do that. So if that's where you need to start, I mean, we have short-term meal plans for you too at Once a Month Meals. I mean, that's one of the things we know starting out small is good, but we also know that there's a lot to be gained by continuing on with that.
yeah.
So Erica says weekly planning. Been there, done that, got burned out. No more weekly meal planning. I forget about them, or life changes my day and the meals go bad in the fridge instead of staying fresh in the freezer. And that is so very true. A lot of us, we call them, our term at Once a Month Meals is a well-meaning meal planner, right? The well-meaning meal planner is the person, I know almost all of the people on this live are going to identify with this, right?
Yes.
You've gone to the grocery store, you've made the plan, you've like, I'm going to tackle this. And then you get the groceries and then life happens and it goes to waste. And then you feel like you're a failure. You failed at meal planning. You didn't fail at meal planning. Like life just happens. And so when it's in the freezer like this, it's not going to waste. If I choose not to eat it today, it's going to be fine. So
yeah.
Thank you, Erica. Those of you just joining us, if you'll introduce yourselves, we're talking about meal planning today in a little bit of a conversational talk show host kind of way.
Yes, we've covered meal plan tactics that don't work. And now we're going to kind of transition into some meal plan tactics that we believe do work. And Trisha's going to talk a little bit about those. So the first one would be choosing meals based on your current life stage. Now, why is this a good idea?
My life stage. What do you mean?
So like, for example, if I am a busy on-the-go mom, which I am, a busy on-the-go mom, I work full-time, I have 4 kids, they're all in activities, my husband and I have different things going on in the evenings as well. What should I be doing to support that life stage versus maybe somebody who has some more free time, is retired, is able to spend more time in the kitchen maybe than the other. So what are some good rules around that, do you think? Some good ideas?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. We serve an audience who's in all kinds of different life stages. I will say our primary person who is doing freezer cooking is usually a mom with young kids. And we're talking from she's pregnant to high school, because at high school, they start cooking for themselves or eating out themselves. But up until then, you're responsible for making sure that they have food. And so this becomes like part of lifestyle. But we also have so many folks that are dual career, and they just want to eat healthier. They want to learn how to cook. And we also have, later stage where empty nesters, singles, widows, whatever, who want single serving meals. So each style of freezer cooking is different for your life stage, because what a mom of young kids, what kind of meals she's making are probably bigger meals that might go in her Instant Pot or slow cooker. A college student might be making single serving meals. So there's lots of different, and so one size does not fit all here at Once a Month Meals. And so we want you to, and we actually have a series of questions that we'll ask you to help you identify what kind of style works for you and help you get familiar with the things. So like, that's the other thing is like, you can go to a meal planning app and do it, but it's not going to guide you as much as the Once a Month Meals will, because it's going to kind of point you in the direction of the recipes that are going to work for where you're at, and whether you need quick meals, whether you need slow cooker meals, all of that kind of stuff. And then also your allergy and things like that. I feel like there's something else I was going to say when you were talking about it.
While you were talking, I was thinking too, our life stage changes, right? So like right now is a very busy season for me, but maybe in the summer, things are not so busy. So I want options. I don't want to have this is what I chose, and so I have to stick with it kind of thing. I want to be able to switch around things so that when I do have more time, because I do like to cook, that I can spend more time in the kitchen. And
that was exactly what I was going to say, is I often put a bunch of meals in the freezer. And then when I do have time to cook, I run to the grocery store and get the things that I'm like inspired to cook. But it's only when I have time. Like, it's like, I know a lot of people say, well, I like to cook. Well, you can like to cook, but that doesn't mean you have time to cook.
Right.
And if I'm not enjoying it, it just feels like a chore. Not, it's an expectation, not a love. And so it actually has caused me to love cooking more, because I have fresh healthy meals when I want them. And then I can play in the kitchen when I feel like playing in the kitchen. So yeah, I think so too. So I don't think just doing freezer cooking, like people ask me all the time, do you just eat freezer meals? No. And I go out to eat, I go out to eat when I choose to go out to eat and when I want to spend the money on going out to eat, not because I don't have anything in the freezer or I don't have options.
For sure. Okay. The next one.
Well, we had a comment from Cecilia. Kelsey, can you put that back up? Hi from Florida. Trying my first make one, freeze one meal plan this week. Got everything on the shopping list yesterday. Good job, Cecilia. We're so excited for you. What she's referring to is stage 1 of the Once a Month Meals Success Path, which is the well-meaning meal planner, moving on to a one and done expert. And so one of the things that we have you do as a well-meaning meal planner is pick a meal plan that has 3 recipes on it that you're going to duplicate. And we have lots of videos. If you go to our Facebook Live videos, you can see all of those cooked live. And so for example, she went to the grocery store. She's going to prep all that stuff. And then maybe tonight she's going to make the first one, and it will have been doubled. So she'll eat one tonight and she'll freeze one for later. And then she'll do that 2 more nights this week. And she'll have, when she gets done, she will have eaten a meal 3 nights this week, and she'll have 3 meals for her freezer. So then when she goes on to the next thing, she then can plan for the time that she has to make the next meal plan in our path. And she doesn't have to feel rushed, and she doesn't have to feel like, oh my gosh, I have to do it right now. And then she's going to have, at the end of that, she's going to have 10 more meals. And so it continues to compound as you build. Thank you, Cecilia.
Cecilia, that actually answered our next one, which was start small. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we were talking about. So we can just move on from that one, because that is exactly how we answer it. So the next one, moving on, would be keep it simple. So how would we keep it simple, do you think? Like, why is that a meal planning tactic that really works for people?
Yeah. So if you're, because you're getting ready, like it's sort of like starting a diet or getting used to things, like you're researching, you're understanding. Also, starting simple and starting small with easy recipes helps you understand how you operate in the kitchen. So like running, like can you sustain a mile? Can you like, are your tennis shoes good? Like, do you need different equipment? And that's the same thing with your kitchen. Like, right now I have a very small kitchen with a small apartment refrigerator, things like that. So I can't do a huge cooking day. I also know my patterns. I get to know my patterns by cooking 3 to 5 recipes. So we also, the meal plans like Cecilia are doing, we have pre-curated to be our most loved recipes and our easiest. When you start working out, I don't know if you've ever started working out, but you don't start out with like all the big weights and all the complicated moves. You start out simple and you start building on what you know. And so that's what you do here too, is build on what you know.
And I have a really great example of this, because part of my job at Once a Month Meals is working with our members and kind of troubleshooting, like wherever they're having some pain points, like I meet with them one-on-one and just try to help them. And one of the comments that I get a lot is like, well, I don't really like any of the meals that I've had. And so I do a little bit of investigating. And what I find out is they've started a new diet plan or something. Let's say they've started paleo and they've never eaten paleo before, but they've decided, I'm going to start the paleo diet. I'm going to cut out all my carbs and I'm just going to go straight paleo. And so they make 15 paleo recipes and they have all these meals in their freezer.
They're well-meaning.
Right. They are well-meaning. All of our members are well-meaning. But the problem is it wasn't that they don't like once a month meals. The problem is that they don't like paleo, right? So they've now made all of these meals with this new diet in mind because they have these goals. And what they find out 1 or 2 meals in is I don't like this eating plan. It's not going to work for me. So now I feel like I've wasted all of this. So that's one of the reasons why we talk about keep it simple, start small, all those things, is just making little bits so that before you make a huge investment, okay, this is going to work for me. I really do like this paleo. I'm going to be able to stick with this. But sometimes you find out, I find out with our members through talking with them, maybe paleo is not the best suggestion for you. Maybe diet is more the meals that you're going to enjoy more, or maybe real foods is more up your alley of what you're looking for. So that's part of it too, is getting to know what is a good fit for you.
Right. And we want you to start small because we don't want you to have a freezer full of meals that you're not going to like. And if you're tackling hey, I'm moving beyond the 5 to 7 meals that I like, then, making new meals might be hard, and it might take you a couple times having that meal to like it. And, I think that's one of the things that our team can help with is, if you are stuck in a rut or are the just rotate 5 to 7 meals person, let us know what those 5 to 7 meals are. And we can help find some similar things in that genre that would really help you, and things that you might like. So we can help you find, because we have it's a good problem. We have over 12,000 recipes in the database. So Kelsey kind of pulled up the meal plans. Today is January 1st, and on the 1st of every month, we come out with new pre-curated meal plans specifically designed. So one of the first things that when you become a member, we're going to tell you is to go to the Success Path Persona Quiz and figure out which one of these types, so the smaller ones or the bigger ones, are right for you, and then what genre. And then we have all of these pre-done for you. So that keeps it simple for you. It actually goes into our next point, which is to keep it organized. We can organize all of it for you. If just the overwhelm for you is just picking, we have all kinds of pre-curated stuff that you can come and grab and do in the membership. Jamie is asking a question. I don't want you to put it up yet, Kelsey. I am going to get to that. Jamie, I just wanted to let you know I have seen your question, and we're going to answer it here in just a few minutes when we get through meal planning tactics. But if this one that Kelsey has up right now is they're seasonal. So this is an instant pot dump and go one. What that means is you could probably do this within an hour or two. You could set your servings, send the grocery list off to Instacart if you have Instacart in your area, have them deliver the groceries. Then you would prep everything using the prep list. And then you could have these assembled and in your freezer. They're really simple. They don't really take any cooking, and have them in your freezer in, I would say, probably an hour or two. Even if you never have any experience in the kitchen, it might take you a little bit longer, but you really can in an evening, a date night, or whatever, have all of that simple and organized for you. She is doing a great job of showing you the cooking, the grocery list that goes along with that.
Well, and she's showing you the prep instructions, which was our next one, was like, do the prep ahead of time. And that's one of the things I really love about our system, is everything is so organized, and it does list out, hey, here's what you need to do to help that assembly day go by really fast, is get that prep work done ahead of time. I can't tell you what a difference that makes for me. Meal planning is just getting the things done. Kind of gal when it comes to meals. Like, I just like to put things in bags and then freeze them and be able to dump them either in my Instant Pot or slow cooker on my serving day. So doing that prep work ahead of time really makes a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have lots of those, and they just came out today. They are seasonal. And the reason we do seasons, so if you're we have a lot of customers in New Zealand and Australia. Hello, folks. They're like way into 2020 by now, because they're way ahead of us. But they are in summer. And so there are still summer meal plans available to them as well. But we come out with new seasonal ones each month. And the reason they're seasonal is because we understand grocery store cycles. We also understand produce that's in season and is going to be on sale in any given month. And so we design these meal plans with that in mind, first and foremost, because that's also going to give you economic savings. It's going to save you money at the grocery store without you even knowing it, because those things are going to have been on sale. And they're also tailored to whatever meal plan type that you're getting at.
Perfect. So our last one is just to be easy on yourself. That is one of the things that I think it's hard for us moms to just, like, when it comes to, I know I have tended in the past to be an all or nothing person, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I either do great at meal planning or I just give up and go out to eat. Like, there's no in between. So that, don't you think, like, that's one of the ones that I think that is really important for us to remember, is that, and it kind of goes with taking it slow, and you know what I mean? Like, starting small, all of that is just give yourself a little bit of grace to get into this. Right?
Yeah. So like, maybe assess right now, how many times did you eat out in an average week? How many times do you eat out? How many times do you put a meal on the table that you've made? And just commit to increasing that by one meal this week, or decreasing eating out by one meal, or two, or three. But don't go whole hog on the whole week. Like, don't. And that's actually, people do that a lot too. It's like, I'm going to plan every dinner for all 7 days. And then you have food go to waste because you had friends call up and they wanted to go out.
Yes.
And you like had leftovers. And so like you just overdid it. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to worry about overdoing it with freezer cooking, because it's in your freezer and you can still use it at another time.
Yes.
And so all of those things are really good. But yeah, definitely be easy on yourself. I think as moms, as wives, as spouses, we just tend to be hard on ourselves, especially around New Year's. And so, yeah, if you slip up and this week doesn't go as well as you thought it was going to go, then, start again next week, start again the next day. You have a choice to make every day, and you can't just give up after one mistake.
Right. So we do have a couple questions on there. I also have some questions here that are really popular questions that we get either in customer engagement or from our users, like on Facebook a lot, that I wanted Trisha to answer. So Kelsey, you can go up and throw ahead. Like, I can see that Jackie asked a question too. We want to make sure we're answering your guys' live questions as well.
Yeah. So let's go to a couple. One is Jamie asked a question about our wait list and why we do that. I still don't understand why there's a wait list when what you're selling doesn't come in limited quantities. Can you please explain this? We would love to explain this to you. Right now, there is not a wait list. Right now is one of the few times during the year that we're open live. We know everybody's trying to tackle New Year's resolutions. And so we are committed and open for you. You do have to become a member before January 2nd, which is tomorrow at noon Pacific Standard Time, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Why do we do that? We do that because we take our members very, very seriously. We are very committed to helping them to be successful. And when we're open all the time and we're doing this and we're trying to recruit new people, it divides our loyalty, it divides our time, and we're so focused on helping new customers get acquainted that we're not spending as much time diving into our customers. And so when we close the doors at noon Pacific time on January 2nd, we go all in with our members and we start building up the community. We start making sure that they're following the success path. We start making sure that they're cooking. We follow up with them. We go deep with them. And it's not just a meal planning tool. It's not just, you can get any meal planning tool any time of the year. That's not us. And if that's what you're looking for, this is actually not the place for you, because we are, it doesn't mean we want to steal all of your time or that you have to watch all these videos or do all these things. It just means that we're in this together, and we want to be in with the people that are in, and we want to focus on those folks. And so that's why people are paying us money, and we have a responsibility to those people that are paying us money. And as of January 2nd, they're going to get our undivided attention. So that's why.
And it's really about building a relationship with our members. Like we want to build a relationship with you. And it's kind of like meal planning coaching, really.
Yeah.
Like we come alongside you. We're going to help you because every member is unique and has their own individual unique. And that was kind of what we were seeing before when we were open all the time. It was like we saw all these individual unique needs that we just didn't have time to meet because we were so busy like selling and trying to get the word out. So that's why we kind of took a different approach. And I think it has been super successful. Our members who have taken advantage of that and who have really like taken advantage of the one-on-one times and gotten involved in the community and really done some of the tutorials and stuff really are the ones who are just killing it in the meal planning department and are like, man, you guys were spot on. Like, we love this now. Like, it really has made a difference.
Yeah. And we have a staff dietitian as well, who is on staff and can answer questions and meet needs. And that is true. Like, every time we get a new round of people in as members, we find out a new need. And then we can dive deep on that need, create that resource and provide that resource to them, as well as then offer that the next go round. Kelsey, I'm sorry, I missed the question. Could you put that back up there? Do the meals go away, or are they in the database? Like, can I find December meals in the database? Yes, the database always stays. There are 12,000 plus 1,000 recipes in the database. You have access to those at all time. As a member, you can actually like and save all the recipes that you've liked the most. And you can also build custom menus based on just the things that you like. So if you need a season of rotate the same 5 to 7 meals, you can make a meal plan with just those 5 to 7 meals that you really like. And that's actually part of the success path too, is that as you're trying new recipes in the system, that you're going back and liking them for future reference. But you always have reference to that. Do some of the new meal plans that are pre-curated by us go away? Yes, they do. But you actually have menu slots. So if you are a monthly member, you start out with 3, and then on your 4th month, you start adding them up to 12. If you are a yearly member, you get 12 meal planning slots. Thank you, Kelsey. And in your 12 meal planning slots, you can save meal plans. So if there's one in December you really like, or in January, because we're in January. There's one in January, one of these meal plans that you really like. You can save it into your custom meal plans, and then you'll have it when we get rid of it on the Publix, on the member side, you'll still have it in your saved files, as well as you can favorite those recipes. So you can also build your own from there. Lots of fun things, but that's also a feature of the site as well.
Well, and one of the features I love, and this is a great question because we have live customer engagement. So there's actually a live person on the other end of this computer. When you go to our site, we have live customer engagement hours. There's a little orange chat button in the bottom right if you go to our site, onceamonthmeals.com. And if you have a question when you're on our site like this, like, hey, I saw November, there was a menu I really liked in November, and now I'm not able to find it. Can somebody help me? We are always there to help you. That's one of the benefits of membership, is that we really want to answer these questions for you, help you find the things that you're looking for, so you never feel like you're alone just on a site, because you guys are not a number to us. Like, we really do care about helping you problem solve and helping you find the things that are going to work for your family. So one of the other things, we have this list of questions, but as I'm looking through our questions, we've answered a lot of these as we've gone through. So there's only really one more that I would really like to answer that we get a lot. And you touched on it a little bit, but I really would like to cover it before we end here, because I know we've been on for a while, but this one is, I really want to customize it and make it my own. I have several allergies, diets, and picky eaters to work around. Will this work for me? Probably the biggest question that we get at once a month meals.
Okay, say it again.
Okay, so I really want to be able to customize this.
Yeah.
We have food allergies. Okay, let me give you an example of a family.
I think you're the one that needs to answer this question, because you have the picky eaters and the food stuff. So
yeah. So we have, people ask a lot of times, like they'll say, here's an example of a typical family about our meal plan. I'm starting keto. My child is also allergic to nuts. And I have 3 kids who are picky eaters, including, and also my husband. I'm not sure this is going to work for me. Like, how can I deal with all of that through one meal plan?
One of my first questions is, how are you dealing with it now?
I know.
Because
right?
Like, I cannot solve all of your problems. Like, I cannot solve your picky eater problems. I can give you solutions to help introduce them to new stuff. I can give you ways for you to customize and to filter. Kelsey's showing you right now that you can filter out. You also, if you do like exclamation point in the search, so exclamation point cashew, it will only give you recipes that don't have cashews in them. So we have different ways for you to filter out different ingredients that don't work for you and your family. I did just have somebody on chat yesterday that was, what were they? They were Whole30, but they didn't use any of the flours or gums. So like no almond flour, no coconut flour, whatever. So I did a search for Whole30. No red meat too. Whole30, no beef, no flour. And we had still like 1,000 recipes that she could utilize. So yeah, I mean, it's not going to solve all. I mean, like I can't do it for $24.99 a month. I cannot solve all of those problems for you,
right.
But I can give you a tool and I can give you some guidance that help you do that.
Yes,
do that well.
And just so you know, I do have a lot of those issues in my family. Like, I try to eat low carb. My kids do not like to eat low carb. I have extremely picky eaters, including my husband. He does have a food allergy. He is allergic to garlic and onions. So I also am I'm with you guys. I'm working around all those issues. Once a month meals still works for me. I'm able to have a variety of meals all the time in my freezer that work for all of us. Now, sometimes because I'm doing low carb, I will make, pasta or rice in addition to what I've made as the other thing, so that my kids still have some of that stuff, or add bread to the meal, those kind of things. But those are easy fixes for me. We are able to help. And again, this is why I'm here for you guys, like as that member support person. If you're struggling with some of those things, you've looked on our site and you're still not sure how this is going to work, then as a member, one of the benefits is you get to set an appointment with me, and I'm going to help sit down and actually customize meal plans for you so that you can see, hey, here's how you would accomplish what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So we love your questions. Continue to ask them. If you're watching on the replay, feel free to ask as well. We really are like a little talk show here, because I know almost like if we were a talk show, there would be commercials in here and we would be over time. So yeah. We definitely appreciate your time and your interest. Over at Once a Month Meals, like we said, we are open right now through January 2nd at noon Pacific Standard Time. And we'd love to have you join us. Erica and several other members of the team are over at onceamonthmeals.com. Go to that little orange icon in the bottom right corner. Ask all of your questions there. Kelsey, you're so good at this.
Yeah.
I think we found our new, so good. Yeah, there's Ricky welcoming you to Once a Month Meals in your path. We would love to see you in membership. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you so much for joining us today. It has been fun, and we look forward to helping you tackle meal planning in 2020.
We'll see you guys. Thank you.